So we're jumping into some Patreon questions. We got first one from Bobby Southernland. He's wondering, who was the best freestyle walker at the World Wakeboard Center?
Man, I don't know. So back in the day, soap shoes, I don't know if you remember those.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So we had a pile of those at the camp. And, dude, we would run the soap shoe game pretty hard. Like when I was in junior men's and like the boys division, if we weren't riding, we were out like trying to find some handrails to hit on the soap shoes. And Pensacola had some dope handrails. We actually, this is funny, we got Randall to come out of his bus and throw on a pair of soap shoes and bust out a handrail with us. It was pretty funny. He had his bus parked right there in the parking lot, and we were hitting this handrail. It was like me and Matt Lockwood and like a bunch of the junior guys from back then, and we're hitting this little handrail, and he comes walking out of the bus, and he's like, dude, what are those shoes? Put them on and did it one time. It was pretty funny.
You can get smoked on the soap shoes, though.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you don't lock in on the soap part, plastic, then you're in for a bad time.
Catch a little bit of that rubber, and you'll regret it.
So no decisive best freestyle walker, but there were a lot.
Yeah, there was
a lot of talent.
A lot of good ones. The talent pool was deep. I think that we had our own little scene. You know, Groveland was a small town back then. There was a lot of dirt roads, and so there wasn't a lot of handrails. So we had to like build our own product. So there was
DIY spots.
Yeah, there was
style.
There was some creativity that had to go in.
Okay, we got one from Garrett Cortez. He says, "Tell people about Noel Frisbee, and what do you think Mary is up to these days?"
So. Thanks, Garrett.
No context on this one, so I'm curious.
Yeah, so we did a Team Super trip to Ireland a while ago. It's been, 10 or I don't know how long it's been, 12 years probably. But we got hosted by this guy, Noel Frisbee. And the best I can describe is like at that time, it seemed like his family were like the Hiltons of this town. Like they're like, he had like some kids that seemed like they were maybe partied a little bit too hard. He maybe had a little bit of money, and like we're like hanging out with him, and we're like, dude, who are these people? Like they know absolutely everybody. Like we walk into a place and everyone knows who this dude is. And like it wasn't like a super small town either. Like it was a pretty good sized town, and I don't remember the name of the town. It was like Anniskinlin maybe or something like that in Ireland. But we're having dinner at this guy's house, and they just keep bringing out bottles of wine, and everyone's just sitting around having a good time. And our marketing manager at the time for Supra treated this trip like a vacation. So he brought his wife, Mary, and he was going to Ireland for vacation along with doing the team trip there. And he was a super nice guy. Like I loved having him as a marketing manager. He had some really good ideas, and he did a lot for the brand while he was there. But maybe not the coolest dude in the world when it came to like knowing what the scene was and like what we were doing. Like, when we travel and go places, like we're always have host families, and like usually it's the same type of setup, and we're like all just being friendly about it or whatever. But him and his wife were telling these stories, and like everyone's like they're laughing, having a good time, and they're like getting serious and getting deep and like telling these stories. And Noel, like Mary is mid-story talking about something that's, I don't even remember what the topic was, but you could tell it was important to her, like very important to her. And Noel just like grabs her arm and he goes, Mary, nobody gives an F about your story. And
brutal.
and so, like all of us are like spitting our drinks out laughing. Like we couldn't, because everyone felt the exact same way, but Noel just stepped in there and just said, no one cares about this. We're not going to listen to it anymore. And then he ran up and grabbed another bottle of wine and cracked it open for us. It was a pretty golden moment.
Oh, so Noel was the local legend.
Noel was the local legend.
Love it.
Yeah.
We got last one from Robbie Holahan. I think I said that right. If you were to be stranded on a deserted island, which members of Team Munted would you pick to ensure A, survival, and B, rescue? And why? And so probably start with what Team Munted is.
So we never really got into this, but when I was coaching, when I started coaching, I was hosting, well, not when I started coaching, I've been coaching forever, but when I started coaching for myself and like doing it after my pro career, I was hosting a lot of junior riders at my house. And so there was a time where I had Tony Iacone, Massey Pivaretti, Parker Siegel, Louis Watt, Christian Primrose, trying to think who else was there. There's a long list. Like there's a lot of them. But they were all staying with me and they would live at the house. I would take them and go on tour with them because I was hurt. I couldn't ride anyway. And so I'm getting, these guys are only 15, 16 years old. So I'm getting the rental cars for them. I'm booking all the hotels. I'm doing all their laundry. Like I'm basically like team mom. And so they started this little thing called Team Munted. And dude, these kids were just like rowdy, you know, like I'm like a 25-year-old dude. Like now I've got like all these 15 and 16-year-old kids living with me. And I'm trying to like figure out how to, like, I only had a 1-year-old daughter myself. And I'm like trying to figure out how to like parent these kids that are living with me for 6 months at a time. So it's a super long story, but Team Munted was all these dudes. And, I don't know who I would pick. I think that Tony, to answer the question, I think Tony would probably be top choice because he seems out of all of those dudes, he
gets up really early in the morning, so that alone kind of like
he's got like the most like head on his shoulders. Like if you get in a sticky situation, like Tony's going to be the one to think you through it and like get out of it.
Okay.
Whereas like a lot of those other dudes are just like, well, I don't know how we got here, you know. So Tony would probably be one, and I don't know. Robbie, you might make second pick. You know, I think I could get out of a situation with you two. I don't know if I could get out of a situation with Massey. I feel like he'd just talk us deeper into it.
Yeah, you're probably right.
You know,
but it'd be funny.
It'd be hilarious.
You'd have a good time.
I would definitely laugh about it. I probably wouldn't want to leave the island. I'd probably just be happy just to stay there and hang out with Massey.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Good question there, Robbie. So yeah, if you guys are interested in seeing other guests start early, make sure to join that Patreon. You can go ahead and submit questions to the guests. I'll ask them on the podcast here. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Thanks for hanging out with me and answering these Patreon questions. Thanks everyone for submitting. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Thanks everyone for tuning in. See you guys next time.
Thanks.